What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Now, you guys requested this one. Today we're looking at I Don't Work Here Lady. I am not Santa's elf, I am just lost on the way to get Christmas card photos. The other day, my mother wanted my siblings and I to do Christmas card photos. She had a nice list of what she wanted, and while it annoyed us, it always does make her happy when we pose for Christmas card photos as a nice family. This year, she wanted us to dress like elves, well, us kids anyways. So I got into my elf costume. It's Christmas time, and I've seen a lot stranger stuff than a wandering elf this time of year. So I head to the mall. I am late. I rush up and look for the directory to see if I can find the photo place on it. Yeah, should have been on time. I'm trying to figure out the location when I hear someone clearing their throat. I shuffle over a bit. Maybe I'm blocking the view. The throat clears again. Maybe the person is sick? I reach into my coat pocket. Need a cough drop? I asked as I turn around holding up a cough drop. There was a rather annoyed looking woman. About time! Where is Santa? Demanded the woman. Excuse me? I replied, confused. Where is Santa? Snapped the woman. The North Pole? Downstairs? Out to lunch? On a date with Mrs. Claus? How should I know? I said as I listed random things as I thought of them. The woman crossed her arms. Seriously? Are you just trying to mess with me? Growled the woman. That was when I noticed the small little girl dressed to the nines next to her. No, I started. An elf! You should know where Santa is. He isn't downstairs and we're in a hurry. Call him. My daughter wants to see him, growled the woman. I looked at this woman and to the little girl. I didn't want to burst the little girl's bubble, but I didn't have time to deal with this. Oh, sorry, miss. You've got the wrong division of elf. I'm not part of appearances or guard duty, miss. So I don't deal with Santa. I'm in charge of the reindeer. Vixen is picky and I was gonna pick her up a treat, so I was trying to find the store on here for reindeer. You know, this place isn't very reindeer friendly. I started and began to yammer on about reindeer as I shuffled around the sign. Well, I would love to stay and chat, but if I slouch off, Mrs. Claus will have my hide. Doodles, I said, and then legged it out of there. I could hear her yell after me, but I didn't look back. After a bit, I found the photo studio and we took the photos. I told my siblings about the whole thing, and my bro had this to say. Well, that's your own dumb fault for dressing like an elf. Maybe I am at fault. Yeah, to be fair on this one, I think the woman probably did have a little bit of reasoning here. Like, it could have been expected that you, dressed as an elf, were probably working in the mall. But hey, I do love the way that you messed with her at the end though, just like leaving her on. I enjoyed that. Moving on to our next story. Woman thinks I am some kind of public transit. I'm driving a golf cart. I'll lead this off by saying that this woman was on something. Drugs or drunk, I will never know. So, 5 years ago, I was working as a parking supervisor at the state fairgrounds. And we have several trucks and golf cars that we use to get around. One day, during a small trade show, I decided to gas up the golf cart I was using for the day and fill up the jerry cans we kept for when we needed fuel but couldn't leave. The closest gas station is about 150 meters or so from the edge of the fairgrounds, so I would always leave, hop onto the sidewalk as the golf carts we had were not street legal, and putter on over to a pump to fill up with the company gas card. I had never once had a problem doing this until that day. On my way back, the woman in question is walking on the sidewalk in the opposite direction, so I stop and pull off into the grass area by the road to let her pass. Safety and all that. Before I register what she is doing, she sits down next to me. I ask her to get off, only for her to start asking me questions. This follows a short but confusing conversation as she keeps asking me to take her places and asking random questions about the golf cart. And I keep refusing to move and explain where I work, etc. and that I can't drive with her sitting there, she needs to get up, etc. It escalates to the point that I have to tell her to get off of the vehicle or I would have to call the police. That seems to register through whatever fog this woman was in, and she stood up and kept walking on like nothing had happened. It was a weird experience that I really haven't thought back on until today. I have had other I Don't Work Here Lady like moments, but never one that went like this. Alright, so this one, as opposed to the first story, yeah, this one is a little bit stranger. Say if you were driving like a coach or a bus or something that looked like a form of public transport, that would make more sense to me, but a golf cart? No. You can't just hop on a golf cart and expect to be taken somewhere for free, that's crazy. Now for our third story, Record Store Blues, featuring Karen and the Managers. Well, you love to see that title. A good friend of mine reached out to me via Facebook Messenger to inform me that a copy of not one, but 2 CDs of my favorite circus/carnival themed artists was on the shelf in the local record store. store. For the curious, it's Circus Contraption, and the albums in question are Gallimore Grand American Traveling Dime Museum. Wow, well if you've heard of that, I'm impressed. I diddy-bop down immediately to the store, anxious and excited, and I'm able to get both of them. I'm having an awesome day, so I ignore the tapping on my shoulder, thinking that I'm in someone's way, edging to the side without comment. Cue Karen and her +4 haircut of dubious perception. Excuse you, I've been trying to get your attention for the last 12 minutes? I just got here, so congratulations. Help me immediately if you want to keep this job. What seems to be the issue? I figured that I could help her, go back to browsing other music choices, keep my day on an even keel. Nope, she's having none of this. Put that down now and help me move this drum kit to my car, or I'll have you fired. At this point, she leans in super close, spitting each word like venom. It would probably hurt if you get fired before Christmas, wouldn't it, you bearded F? Okay. I'm thinking, lady, I don't want to know what screwed you up so bad that you have to try to wreck other people, just dang. Are you going to be helpful or unemployed? I'd rather chug broken glass through a lemon-flavored straw than deal with this. Go get me fired, okay? I mean, the broken glass was okay, but the lemon-flavored straw, no way. Karen immediately detonates and I'm at ground zero. Cue the cartwheel of expletives, threats, and comments about my parents. Looking behind her, I can see the manager bracing for impact. Not exactly on my side for what I did, but hey, not sure that I can care either. Mom, they don't work for me. How can I help you? And Karen releases a second volley, aiming for the manager. On my way to the counter, I overhear that Karen just bought a new drum kit from the store next door. The pawn shop. The very much not a record store type of pawn shop. Apparently, she's thinking that I was working there and would feel obligated to carry her purchase to her car, which immediately freed the manager to tell her to get the F out of his store. When he got to the counter, he gave me a stern comment about not igniting volatile people, and I paid for my stuff. The cashier did offer to add in a free copy of Soundgarden CD, which I politely and firmly declined. She did double punch my reward cards though, which was nice. The best part about all these stories so far, in my opinion, is that all the posters have actually gone along with what the Karens are saying. Like, they know that they don't work there, but they just go along with it for the fun. It's so funny. Now for our final story. Lady wants me to fix gas pump. Before I begin, I just found this sub and I'm loving it. What I'm going to share isn't as dramatic as some, but did happen last week. I took my escape to the local Ford shop outside the dealership to get my oil changed. I go in and I sort of vaguely know the guy behind the counter. I tell him what I need, he says it will be about 45 minutes total. Cool, I'll wait in the little waiting room. I barely got myself sat down when an older lady rushes in and, for reasons completely unknown to me, starts complaining about gas pump 3. But she's the type that is flighty and going to keep talking right on over you, so she starts talking. Oh, I'm sorry, I managed to say before she goes on and on about the little hook thingy on the end of the deal, you know, and she can't get it to go, but that little hook thingy, etc, etc. I know nothing about gas pump maintenance, but her rapid-fire, meandering descriptions weren't doing anyone any favors. An overly excitable parakeet came to mind. Sensing the briefest of lulls in her ramblings, I said, I'm sorry, I don't work here. Naturally, she starts chirping again as I'm saying the word work. She's looking off in every direction at every person waiting for their cars, at the guy behind the counter just chittering away, saying a lot without ever really saying anything, you know? Mostly this is directed at me, but she's pivoting her head and just talking to the whole room. There was nothing wrong with her, just one of those elder Karens who emote a level 10 fret over a level 2 issue. She ends it all by looking directly at me and saying, so, pump 3, thank you, and she walks back out to her car at the gas pump. The guy at the counter needs some more info from me because since the last time I was there, I got a new car but also moved. After our exchange, I kind of patted the counter forcefully and said, as if I were his boss, and if one of you could get on pump 3, that'd be great. We had a chuckle and I sat back down. The lady comes parakeeting up towards the door again and I took a deep breath, ready to tell her that I don't work there. She doesn't come in, but looks directly at me sitting in a chair, then parakeets back to her car and stands there. A mechanic came in from the shop. Guy behind the counter tells him the story as best as he could with what little information the lady gave. He says he'll take a look ASAP. They were busy. It was 2 days before Thanksgiving. Assuming people were getting their cars checked before travel. Also, it had just snowed, so maybe winterization, and I also don't think he knew there was a lady actually out there. I can see her pacing around like a maniac, craning her neck and looking at the storefronts. The counter guy is run ragged booking new people in and going over the bills with the others they had finished. Cue me getting an important phone call about my disabled mother's SSI benefits. It was just a number, so I answered it inside, but once I realized its importance, I took it outside. As I'm telling the SSI rep to hold on one sec, the lady comes back in and looks at me with daggers in her eyes. She's simply aghast. I make it to a point to tell the SSI rep that I was at the shop getting my car worked on, hoping that would kill two birds with one stone, let them know why I needed a sec, and let Parakeet know that I didn't work there. But as I'm walking out the door, I hear her just exclaim, "And now he's just on the phone? Unbelievable!" She storms out after me, I think because she thinks I'm heading to her car on pump 3. Obviously, I'm not. I continue off the property across a small access road and into the empty lot next door. I'll take the call with delicate personal information while also having a cigarette, I figured. All in all, I'm, I don't know, 100 feet away? The lady starts storming in my direction. She gets about halfway there and throws up her arms in disgust, like she's waiting for me to notice her. Finally, she turns on her heels and stomps back to her car, paces around it, stares at me, looks at the store. Finally, one of the mechanics goes out there. I obviously couldn't hear them and I was preoccupied with my call anyway. I did see him do something at the pump which took a millisecond, and the rest of the time she was clearly angrily animated, talking at him while gesturing and occasionally looking at me. She fills up her car and leaves by the access road I crossed. I get daggers from her as she drives past me. I get done with my call and go back in. The mechanic and the counter guy are both talking, so I asked what her deal was. She didn't pull up the little lever that would activate the gas pump. She was just trying to pump gas to no avail, facepalm. But the mechanic goes, "She really hates you." He goes on to say how she read him the riot act over me. I was lazy, incompetent, and more preoccupied with my phone and going on a break than I was with helping her. She ended it with demanding I be fired or she'd take her business elsewhere. The counter guy says, "So sorry, but we're gonna have to let you go." Dang, we laughed hard about that. Alright, so to be fair, I think this Karen's not actually that bad. She seems like a Karen in training, if you like, because she didn't call for the manager yet, so she's still getting to know what real entitlement is. Again though, I do love how everyone just knows that you don't work here and they just play with it, annoying her even more. It's very funny. Anyway guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. If you did enjoy it, leave a like and comment down below. Let me know if you want to see any more videos on this subreddit throughout the rest of December. I actually have covered this subreddit before a long time ago now, so if you want to watch more, click the video on screen. With that being said, I will see you guys all later today with another video.